So I decided to bring Real Talk with Manny back, and what better way than to come back than this whole Donald Trump being our new elected president of the United States. Now, before I jump into this topic in general, I will put it out there and be honest with everybody that I did not go out and vote, and I was really, really indecisive about Hillary or choosing Hillary because I wasn't too sure 100% on her views. I just wasn't feeling it. So I didn't go out and make a decision based on uncertainty. So, with that being said, I know it's a lot of people out there saying that you didn't vote, you're the problem, that's why Donald Trump won. I feel like this is a bigger picture than what we've realized. That even we've seen with Bush and the Al Gore situation back in the year 2000, that those votes were clearly crooked, and statistic proves that those votes were altered and tweaked to go in his favor, and yet he was still the president for 8 years. So it goes to show you that the system is still put in place to work for whoever it is they want to utilize it for. As far as the Republican Party, that's what I'm speaking on. I don't believe that there is a such thing as democracy. I don't think it exists, because every decision that has been made has always been made or altered just to either keep somebody quiet or to just straight brute force shut people up in general. And that's what I feel like how the country is ran. Now, this is what kind of blows my mind. Now, granted, with me not voting and everything else like that, the fact that he won, the fact that he was even a candidate to run blows my mind. Not only is this man a bigot, a sexist, and a racist, he has no class, and he has no experience on how to run anything dealing with the government, the country, or being a leader as a whole. But he's a runner-up against someone who's been doing this for, 11, 12 years of their life? Been a part of that for the last, probably longer, 15, 20, who knows? So the fact that she didn't win off of her experience alone lets me know who they wanted to win. They got tired that Obama was in office the last 8 years, and this was they clapback. This was them getting back. So, you know what the positive thing about Trump being the president is? That this is going to unify the people. As far as the black community goes, this is going to finally wake everybody up out of that coma that felt as though because Barack was in office that the years were going to be great and that there will be no problems and that, hey, there might not be racism and, hey, the mass incarceration might come down. They might be. No, when Barack was in office, people were still getting killed on camera, gunned down by police officers, and let off. We've been watching this the last 8 years. We've been watching this. So I'm not putting that on Barack. I just feel as though he was a tool. That's all. It's not much he can do. There's probably many things he wanted to do that he genuinely wanted to do that he couldn't do for the simple fact that it's a systematic system put in place for him to do things accordingly and to act accordingly. He's just a pawn. When are people going to wake up and see what's going on? I don't have to. See, a lot of people feel as though because they watch CNN all day that they're well informed on what's going on in the country. No, I hate to bust your bubble, but that's not the case either. Why don't you look at your circumstances in your neighborhood? Why don't you look outside the window and see what's going on to let you know what's put in place and how the country is actually ran? To actually keep the lower class down, the middle class floating, and then the upper class high above everything else. Why is that the case? How come the lower class is never talked about? How come race is never talked about in a discussion for any candidate who's running for president? Neither one can really say anything. It's just minority this and minority that. That's it. People need to wake up. So with Trump being in office, you know what this is going to do? This is going to unify the people. People are actually going to come together and be like, hey, what the hell what just happened? Okay, we're not going to stand for this. We're not going to tolerate what's going on. And now we can use our social media platforms, like this video I'm making, to actually bring awareness to the situation. And as far as the black community goes, we need to unify. We need to come together as a people. And the best thing my brother could have did for me was to snap me out of the careless mentality of just being so frustrated with the country and society to actually utilize any platform that you have to bring awareness to what's going on around us. I thank him for that. Super, 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 super excited and gratified for that. Thankful that he even did that. Shook things up for me a little bit. Now, on the bigger note, to continue this, now that he's in office, people can start to pay attention to what's about to happen. Now, mind you, why is everybody crying and getting mad and feeling like the world is over? Like we've never had a racist president before. Like this is brand new to everybody. Come on now, we done dealt with the Reagans and the Bushes and everybody else before them. And we're still here. We've dealt with slavery in the 1700s through the 1800s, or whenever it was abolished. And we dealt with the whole heavy racism and the whole Jim Crow era with the massive hangings and the massive this and dogs and getting killed and water hoses. We made it through that, and now we're here today. We're not going to roll over. This is a whole new generation. We ain't going to roll over and let none of that stuff happen. So you need to take pride in who you are as a person and not let someone scare you to death to where you're just going to cower in a shell and feel like because people didn't vote, let's just belittle each other. Let's tear each other down and not unify. Let's take this opportunity to unify, come together, use whatever platforms we have to bring awareness and to let society and this government and this Republican Party know that we're not going to stand for anything that they throw our way. That's what you do in this situation, in the heat of the moment. So, on another note, like I was saying before, I don't believe in democracy. Don't think it even exists. I feel like they put it out there as an illusion to basically delude everybody in believing that we actually have say in things that go on in this country. When the last time you voted for something and didn't really see it through, or your tax dollars went to something when you found out behind closed doors it actually went to something else? We've all been bamboozled multiple times. And as far as the black community goes, when have we ever really had any say in anything in this country? The fact that if I write Black African American on my application to try and sign up for anything, the fact that my chances of getting whatever it is I'm trying to get goes down because I put Black African American, that lets you know where we are as a country. There was many times I was like, hey, what if I check white on this box? I wonder what kind of guarantees and benefits I would get if I checked that. So it lets you know that it has nothing to do with us trying to attack each other. Oh, you didn't vote. You didn't do this. You're the problem. Stop beating up each other and start unifying. Every other culture is doing it. Mexicans are doing it. The Asians do it. Hindu, Indian do it. Everybody else is banding together, have their own businesses. They buy and buy this up and buy that, have real estate and all these great things, and they stand together when people try and gang up on them. But not us. We kill each other. We don't support each other's businesses. We don't support each other's dreams or goals. We just too busy trying to be the next person up, overlapping each other. Why is that? Exactly. Why don't we make a change in that? Instead of complaining about Trump being in office, why don't we unify as a people? So hopefully with him being in office, this turns out to be a good thing instead of a negative. Now, mind you, nobody wants him in office. We don't know what he's about to do. Yeah, the country might go back. Yeah, the country might mess up. But life goes on. We're going to be living, and we're going to let him know that we're not standing for anything that he's about to throw our way. Why? Because we can unify. This is the perfect opportunity to unify instead of just crying and doing all these other things. I don't really get into politics because I know how it's already going to go in the favor of Republicans. No matter, even if we feel like we've won, it still kind of went in the favor of Republicans to either shut us up for however long they want to shut us up before they have this master scheme of throwing this idiot in the office. that lets you know right there. So anybody who feels some type of way about this video and they mad and frustrated or whatever the case may be, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion, just like I'm entitled to mine. I have it's my constitutional right of free speech. So with that being said, all we need to honestly do is band together, unify, stop all this tearing each other down, and actually know that there's a bigger plan here than the negative that we're looking at right now. To being scared of this, there's a bigger purpose behind all this that's going on. So what I do, I pray. I make sure that I stay connected with my family and stay connected to what's going on in my community instead of my head plugged into a TV all day long watching someone else tell me that these are facts when they actually were twisted and used for something else. Why don't you actually pay attention to what's in front of you and start to really unify as a people, come together, and take this opportunity to be the next step to bringing America to its next level and to different races and culture together and the black community together. Period. All right? That's all I got to say on it. So, Real Talk with Manny is back, baby. And that's my views on Donald Trump in office. Deuces.